What's going on, guys? This is Tibby here with a new build video for the Elder Scrolls Online. This is a PvP Necromancer that is both a Harmony build and a Bashcrow build, or Harmony Bashcrow, if you will. This is a very evasive and bursty build, designed to take on Battlegrounds as well as some aspects of Cyrodiil and the Imperial City as well, but it performs at its best in the Battlegrounds itself. For the race, I've gone with the Red Guard for the cost reduction in our weapon abilities, mostly the Rally, getting that extra 8% cost reduction for our burst heals, as well as the Fierce Armor to make it a very functional spammable in addition to our bashing. So the primary combo in this for like single target would be like light attack, pierce armor, bash, and just spam the bash. It's a great form of DPS, especially when update 32 comes out in a couple of weeks here. Otherwise, it does have a Harmony focus using two different synergies of our own that we can pop for extra damage, as well as really utilizing the synergies of our teammates. This build does take a very unique approach, I think. Some would call it a Zergling trash approach, others not so much. But the three sets that we are running are Dark Convergence, Lady Thorn, and Heartland Conqueror. So the Dark Convergence is the set that most people hate. You receive a lot of hate mail playing this build just because it runs Dark Convergence. People don't take too kindly to it. But as long as you throw an area of effect ability down on the ground, you basically create this epicenter that pulls people in and reduces their movement speed, and then it explodes for just an absurd amount of damage. And it increases the more people that get caught into it. And so we have two ways of really popping our own synergies, as well as dropping down the Dark Convergence proc. The first being the Necromancer skill Avid Boneyard. So this skill, we throw down an AoE that applies Major Breach. It deals frost damage over time, and if you activate the synergy, or if an ally activates it, then it also explodes for a lot of magic damage. The second set that we're running to kind of work hand in hand with the Dark Convergence and the concept of a Harmony build and popping synergies, making sure you always have some available, is Lady Thorn. So Lady Thorn, if you use an ability that costs health instead of like magic or stamina, then you create a Sanguine Burst, which is a synergy you can pop to deal disease damage to enemies nearby and reduce their damage done by 10%. And as the Necromancer, we have a cleansing effect that costs health instead of magic or stamina. So we use that to both purge harmful effects from ourselves, as well as trigger a synergy we can pop to burst people down, restore our resources with the Undaunted passives, and also trigger the Dark Convergence. And the third and final set that we're running is the Heartland Conqueror set. So with this set, it just gives you, just added sustain, a little extra damage, but with the 5-piece trait, it increases the effectiveness of your weapon traits by 100%. So with our build, our main damage bar is a sword and board bar, because the passives give you an extra 5% to your weapon and spell damage, but the sword is actually trait changed to Nirnhoned. So in this build, I'm running Dark Convergence, sword and board, as well as jewels, and then a Dark Convergence maul on the back bar, which I have trait changed to powered. So with Heartland Conqueror, the Nirnhoned is going to increase our damage done by 30%, and the back bar powered maul is going to increase our healing done by 16%. So being the Red Guard and having that cost reduction for Rally, we can really just spam Rally and just burst heal ourselves through a lot of incoming damage. As for the attributes and all that, and Mundus. We just went 64 straight into stamina, and the Mundus stone that I chose was the Lover. We are using a mix of like weapon damaging abilities and spell damaging abilities. So instead of focusing on the damage increase, I just went with the flat penetration across the board. I feel this was more of a better route to take as far as maximizing our damage output across different formats of PvP. For the armor itself, the Ladythorn head we have in heavy as impenetrable, and the Ladythorn shoulders are light, and that's going to be infused. Now I went with a one heavy, one light because ultimately at heart we are trying to be a bash build, but we're also trying to be very mobile. So with the heavy armor buffs, each piece will increase the damage of bash by 3%, and each light piece will reduce the cost by 3%. But for the main body pieces, the Heartland Conqueror, we went with 5 medium. And that's just to increase the weapon and spell damage across the board by 10%, also to reduce the cost of roll dodge and sprint, as well as our movement speed bonus of sprint, and our stamina recovery. We do not want to stand still. We want to be constantly moving, roll dodging through our opponents, dropping down our AoEs and our synergies, and really just utilizing our mobility to unleash a lot of combo potential and burst damage. One really fun thing you can do if you do have a big group of enemies on you, you can proc the Dark Convergence and also hit your Pummeling Goliath ultimate and just start bashing everyone down who's stuck inside of the Dark Convergence proc. For our front bar, the skills we went with are Pierce Armor to reduce their physical and spell resistance by 10,000. It also gives us a very cheap spammable that we can do light attack, Pierce Armor, and spam bash. We also went with Blighted Blast Bones. Blighted Blast Bones is really a good combo enabler for burst damage. You can activate that, and then you can just like run in there with it, and it'll explode for disease damage, and then you just start hitting them with your different AoEs and your Pierce Armor combo. We also went with the Detonating Siphon, just as a little bit of extra damage over time that you can use during your fights. And also because when it finally explodes, it does also proc the Dark Convergence as well, but that's pretty much just secondary for this build. And then, as previously talked about, we have the Expunge and Modify on the front bar. That's going to enable us to use Lady's Thorn, and also cleanse harmful effects from ourselves. And then we have Necrotic Potency, so that we can consume the corpses around us for a quick heal, as well as generating ultimate faster. And then the ultimate on the front bar is going to be the Pummeling Goliath, which adds extra survivability, a lot of max health when it's active, but then it makes your bashing abilities kind of sprout in a cone that deals like 9,000 damage the way I have it spec'd. On the back bar, we have the Beckoning Armor to pull people in that use ranged attacks against us. We have the Spirit Guardian for some heals and damage mitigation. We then have Rally for our Major Brutality buff and a Burst heal. Then we have Resolving Vigor as a fast heal over time that's stamina based. So we get a lot of healing on the back bar between stamina and magicka, just making sure we always have the resources to keep ourselves alive. Then we have the Avid Boneyard on the back bar, so we can just throw that down, bar swap back to the front bar. It's going to proc the Dark Convergence, and then enable us to activate the synergy for more damage than we would on the back bar. And the ultimate is the Animate Blast Bones ultimate from Living Death, so you can resurrect a group of your allies, you can trigger Dark Convergence, you can spawn a bunch of Blast Bones to just attack the nearby enemies. For this build, we did not go with Vampire or Werewolf or anything like that. There were just too many drawbacks, in my opinion, for me to justify using those on this build. You're obviously going to want all of your armor passives, all of your sword and board and two-handed passives, and then the undaunted passives. Those are the most important that aren't your class passives. So I mean, all in all, this build has been great. I love playing it. Is it unbeatable? By no means at all. It's very squishy. That's why we have to rely so heavily on roll dodging. And blocking and just trying to get away from people while we burst heal ourselves back. But it does get a lot of kills, and it's been running pretty smoothly, I would say, as far as Battlegrounds are concerned. I actually just made this entire character a few days ago and just power leveled it up to where I wanted it. And then I did about 7 Battlegrounds and made it into the leaderboards with this build, which I haven't been able to do since my Magden build back in June. But that's enough of the rambling. Oh, one last thing. Potions, just use your generic tri-stat potions. Either the Crown Store ones or if you can craft them. You could also use immovability pots, and for the food I'm running Dubious Cavern Growth. So all of the rambling out of the way, sit back, enjoy the gameplay, and let me know what you think. Bye.